President Trump is pushing Congress to pass the Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and eliminate, they say, online voter registration. Missouri's top election officials support the bill, but voting access advocates warn it could inhibit voters. Missouri Capitol reporter Hannah Falcon has more on the bill and how it would change who would be impacted.
Many of the things we're already doing here in the state of Missouri.
Missouri's top election officials, Secretary of State Teddy Hoskins, says it would be no problem to comply with proposed changes to election laws.
Why is it important to keep a secure election? And is there a real concern of somebody trying to influence our election?
Well, most certainly. It's very important to me that people have confidence in our elections, that they know that our elections are accurate, that they're secure, and that they know that their vote is going to count.
The Save America Act would require voters to show proof of citizenship, like a birth certificate, passport, or naturalization papers, to register to vote and eliminate online voter registration. It's co-sponsored by Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who says we need to pass the Save America Act to strengthen our election integrity, ensure only American citizens are casting ballots, and confirm only valid votes are being counted. But there are concerns from the nonpartisan Missouri Voter Protection Coalition that it would prevent some lawful residents from voting in the upcoming midterm election if passed before November.
It is simply not even possible for the Save America Act, even if it were passed, to be implemented in a way that would allow American voters to successfully register to vote.
Why is it important that being able to register and vote is very easy and accessible for all Americans?
Well, a quintessential part of being an American citizen is that we all have a right to have a voice and have a say in our own futures.
Missouri does already follow some of the proposed changes, like requiring a photo ID to cast a ballot. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon.